In the middle of a Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. We managed to clear Miss Woods' name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Tetanate. And now we reach the present. December 19th, 3:21 p.m. Write Anything Agency.
Apollo's a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him.
Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Tetanate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself, in Turnabout Corner. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating.
All right, enough of this, people. This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you.
You're the only one who's crying, Athena.
Technicalities. Look, we have work to do. We have to take over.
Take over what exactly?
Apollo Space Center case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade. Right, Daddy?
Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know.
Good. Now that's settled, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run.
Wait, right now? Better not be running the whole way. There she goes. I better go catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy?
Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you.
Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm.
Oh, she's back. Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, my bag.
Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that, too.
All right, you two. Let's be careful out there.
December 19th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him.
That's right. He's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago.
You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it.
Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered.
Ah, and you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere?
Huh? You mean other than at your trial? I don't think so.
I guess so. My mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput, Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes. He's seriously got to stop depressing himself.
Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere, that just means we shine like shooting stars, right?
Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we were all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars. Guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in a flash. Oh yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. To the stratosphere and beyond. Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? So you have no memory at all of the incident? I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black and clouded as a dark nebula.
Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial?
You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know. Oh, the so-called have one miracle? That must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity. He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know.
But the tranquilizers were found in your system.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But I don't know why. I'm done for. If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you? Exactly. That's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted a detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed. I'll say. They even managed to plant your print on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small? Like about the murder weapon, for example? That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah, staff who work on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is. Utility knife updated. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner, but I managed to make it somehow with the popsicles and ice packs from the freezer.
No wonder they dubbed it the Had One Miracle. It's a miracle you made it back.
Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on forever and ever and ever without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come save me. I was all alone. All alone, with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breath, breathing, and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. I know. That's the terrifying thing about it.
With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission?
What? No way. Of course not. Even now, I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand it.
I want to shake off the Earth's gravity and escape velocity and spin around weightless. But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid?
I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier. An unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. But what about the victim, Clay Terran? The victim, Clay Terran. He was kind of like your protege, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like master and apprentice or anything like that. But Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and the protege. What a combination they must have been. With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now...
Clay must have been very encouraging, huh?
Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I hear him shout, you're fine. I always got the feeling everything really was going to be just fine.
You're fine. Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all the time, too. And I always feel encouraged, too, whenever I hear him shout it.
Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. Those two hung around the Space Center so much, they were like a part of his staff. One time during ZOG training, I started to panic a little bit. And the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm fine and you're fine were like Apollo and Clay's secret phrases, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now.
Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder?
Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But he actually did climb down that ladder, so a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. But that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through barred windows.
You're fine. Solomon Soul Starbuck is fine. Everything's gonna be alright.
Huh?
And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright. You too.
Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine.
I can't hear you!
Phoenix Wright is fine.
We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us.
Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine.
Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto!
Good idea. Let's go. Let's do it. December 19th, Cosmos Space Center entrance. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place this Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future.
Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look at how brightly the Gyaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going.
Gyaxa, huh? Isn't it that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program?
Yeah. But why the strange acronym? I mean, what is GYA supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency.
Which, if you ask me, I've abbreviated to GAXA, or even Gaia. Gaia.
I guess so. Oh, I know. Maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y.
This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu.
Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction.
Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Galactic Studer, full speed ahead!
Yikes! Who's this geezer and what's he want?
Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of space science. Pardon me, but you are? My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. I am the director of the Cosmos Space Center. The center of the cosmos.
Boss, that was pretty groan-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Aha! So you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you?
And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candasan. That is correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But this talk of the incident, are you by chance the space police? You can't tack the word space onto just any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case.
Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way.
Ah, I see. I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now go ahead, have at it.
I can already tell he's going to be nothing but trouble.
Don't let him hear you say that, or you'll see what trouble really is.
Let's just be professional and ask him about what he found in the body, okay?
I agree. Truly. Time to find out what it's all about.
So, as director, what do you do here at the Space Center, specifically?
Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going. For the sake of mankind.
I believe I used the word specifically in my question.
Attention all personnel, to your break stations. Prepare for break.
Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner.
That is exactly right. Because I am an important man, my manner is important.
Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm.
Well, there's bound to be some people like that here in the boundlessness of space. What's that? You want to know what it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the Hat One project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it.
I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it, specifically. Could you tell us what you know about the incidents from the other day?
I refuse.
What?
Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the Center of the Cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom.
What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow?
That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind.
I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about.
Then let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. Sorry, drinking soda doing this voice work can be tiring to my throat. So now you know about Hat One. The Hat One was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home. I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Hat One project.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hat One's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat One reached its planned orbit, from where it launched the Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the Hat One returned safely to Earth. That struggle was
when the incident known as the Hat One miracle occurred, right?
correct, and it truly was a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth but a few days ago.
So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. Regrettably, we had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years.
That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loudmouth braggart after all.
In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of a space center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential.
A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big.
Our endeavors with the moon rock live on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos.
I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
What? Bite your tongue. It's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission.
With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it. I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case.
Is that so? Well, I'll be on my way. As you can see, I'm a very busy and very important man. Galactic Scooter! Fire up the main engine! Max pedal speed, and engage! That thing is surprisingly fast.
I guess we better get going, too.
You bet.
Let's make it so.
You're right about that. Next stop, the boarding lounge. December 19th, Cosmos Space Center. Boarding lounge.
So this is where Mr. Terran was murdered. Yeah, this is the lounge. Let's see, that diagram the police made again. Right now, we're in the main building here on the right side of the 3rd floor. Clay and Mr. Starbuck fled here from Launchpad 1 after the explosion.
You there! No admittance without express permission.
We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate.
Sorry, nobody gets in without permission. Not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me.
So Detective Fulbright is here, huh?
Yeah, he's in the Launchpad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him and then we'll talk.
Leave it to me. I'm great at getting into Detective Fulbright. Let's see, what trick should I use on him today? I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid. So, to get to the Launchpad 1 corridor, we just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door? It looks awfully familiar. Good eye there, boss. This is the door Clay and Mr. Starbuck used during their escape from the launch pad.
Ah, that explains it.
The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now, come on, let's go.
Indeed. December 19th, Cosmos Space Center. Launch Pad 1 corridor. So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the two of them used in their escape.
Yep, this is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building.
I still see police tape down at the other end. Guess we won't be taking a look at the launch pad.
After the explosion, this whole corridor must have been filled with smoke. And the launch pad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for them. Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there.
What should I do? Which path is the path of justice?
He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor's a straight shot.
Huh? Ah, it's you lawyer people. Welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing?
We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. You have any info to share? Boss, if he acts at all reluctant to give us information, we hit him with the whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it?
Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something? Info on the case, huh? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you.
Huh? What just happened?
Detectives and lawyers seeking truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandits. I'm in a generous mood today.
I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today.
Well, we need information, so let's run with it.
If you say so.
Yes, something is not right with Fulbright. Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene?
There's an officer on guard and we can't get in. Whatever shall we do?
That's an easy one. I'll let them know over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives a mean neck rub. No, that's okay. But thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright I know.
Detective Fulbright is acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. Do you think he hit his head or something?
Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. But something's not right, I know it. What happened exactly?
You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incidents, weren't you, Detective?
That's right. I was here on a security assignment.
The police are required to secure rocket launches now? I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, you know us, to serve and protect. The explosions occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation.
He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us more about what happened?
Of course. A bomb went off on the second floor of the main building. Right after that, the one over in Launch Pad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate to the shelter.
The shelter?
That's right. There's an evacuation shelter in the basement. Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like.
So where were you when the first bomb went off?
I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion. And the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way.
And wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter?
No, we lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any other survivors. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down to it and headed to the shelter.
Wow, what an ordeal. But climbing down an emergency ladder kind of sounds fun.
Thank you for your answers, Detective. They were very helpful. Just a moment. I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay?
Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short leash, too.
Well, never mind that. I thought you should know that there was a witness.
Really? Could you tell us more about this witness?
Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through a window into the 3rd floor lounge.
So, she was looking into the crime scene from the outside?
That's right. It was just a matter of chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though.
You don't? But that's the most important thing of all.
Don't you worry. I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her.
A 4th floor employee, huh?
All right. Thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright.
Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even.
Yes, well, actually,
Something you can't talk about?
Yes, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now. Like I said, something's amiss.
What was that all about? Something is definitely going on. I'm gonna get it out of him the next time I see him.
Okay.
I'm not so sure he'll talk about it, though. Well, we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge.
We should, honestly, but my god, it's gonna be a mess of things. Next stop, the boarding lounge. December 19th, Cosmos Space Center, boarding lounge. Ah, you two. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub too if you like.
Oh, that's all right, but thank you for the offer.
Well, time to roll up our sleeves and start investigating. Now, let's see. Where's that diagram again? So the lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. And according to Apollo, this is where he believes a third party killed his friend.
Well, let's start the recap and start looking for traces of the third person then.
You read my mind, Athena. We'll make that our first priority. There's just one problem, though. This room. It's just so big.
Don't worry, we can use this to help us.
A Space Center pamphlet for tourists?
Yup, picked it up at the entrance. The maps inside should come in handy. Let's see. Yup, here it is. A map of the lounge. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright.
Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet added to the court record.
Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the third person.
Wait, there's just one more thing.
What's that strange creature moving around outside the window? Oh, boss, it's just a holographic image.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Phew, that's a relief.
There should be a button somewhere in this room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet anyway.
The only reason you're so eager to start is so that you can push that button, isn't it?
And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues.
Alright, fine. Let's get investigating. Start with the body itself. So this is where they discovered Clay.
Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo.
So he was stretched out like this and, huh?
What's that thing that looks like a thermos? That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was in court with Apollo. He said that it contains asteroid samples.
Oh, right. Director Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe at the Hat-1 launch.
I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see?
Let's think about that after we solve this case, okay? Indeed. We've already examined the body. Now let's examine the one up there. No matter how I look at it, all I can think of is torture device. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Uh-oh. Athena has an odd glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her, but I'm afraid she'll just outmuscle me.
Hey, Mr. Wright, look at that up there.
Some kind of fragment? It's stuck in tight. Oh, so that's what the glint was all about.
That color looks familiar. I think it's part of an oxygen tank.
I think you're right, but if that's here, it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrive at the boarding lounge.
So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must be wrong. This proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge.
So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder was in the launch pad.
Way to go, Apollo.
Yes, indeed. Now let's check the door on the right. So it looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room.
Well, let's check. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. We're here at this place that says Boarding Lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them Lefty, Righty, and Downy. People usually say West, East, and South in a case like this, you know. Details, details. Anyway, take a look at the West door. That door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. I know because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor.
So that's where we were with the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion.
Right. Next up, the right-hand side of the map, or east if you would. That's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room.
Yup, it definitely says control room. Looks like it has another door on the opposite side.
They communicate and exchange information with rockets and probes in space from there.
So it's the center of the Space Center.
The Space Center, if you will.
Does everybody start to talk like Director Cosmos after they've been here a while?
But it seems that they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for the Hat-2 mission, so this control room was empty at the time.
I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, and since we're here...
I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition. Only the director can go through.
With that much security, I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out of here.
So apparently the lock is also hooked up to a backup generator in case of an emergency.
The control room door lock out of the court record.
Okay, but what about the last door? This lower door? Oh, excuse me, I mean south door. It leads to the elevators. This is the door we came through when we entered this room, right? Yup. And of course, there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone. But the elevators weren't working at the time due to the explosion. Well, that's about it for the 3 musket doors of the boarding lounge.
Thanks. Understanding the layout of a lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd better have a good grasp of where all the doors go. Let's see. Let's investigate this time. Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says.
Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet I could do mid-air somersaults.
We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling.
Well, at least I could jump really high.
There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says, don't jump too high.
Then what good is this thing?
Didn't I say in the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? Yeah. That's not what I would expect from a place like this. Wait. There's a grate. Hello.
Hey, I see something shiny down there. Let's take this cover off then. What's this? Looks like a metal jelly bean.
It's really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter.
Let's see, that would make this the caliber 10?
Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right?
Yes, but I've never heard of a 10 caliber gun before.
This bullet must be for a special kind of gun.
I bet if you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular sized gun, it would just fall right out.
Yeah, it must have been a really small gun.
I wonder how the bullet ended up here. I mean, we're in the bottom left on the south door side of the room, according to this map. That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here.
Yeah, leave it to Detective Fulbright to accidentally hand us just the card we need. Bullet added to the court record. Now the right side.
What's this? A trapdoor? It's a trash chute. The cleaning robots throw the garbage out from here.
The robots do the cleaning? What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies.
No way. All the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in the Launchpad 1 corridor? We can go say hi to it if you want.
Let's see what this is.
There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it here. Just push it. That's the invariable principle of buttons.
There are such things as buttons left unpushed. And that turns it off.
Hey, the giant holographic image disappeared.
Yeah, though that side of the wall seems to be kind of barren without it now. So let's see if we can't find anything new with the image off. Wait a second. There is something here.
Hey, Mr. Wright, take a look at this.
Looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena.
It's pretty big. Whoever fired this shot must have been using a pretty large gun.
You think so? Based on my experience, I'd say this was fired from a regular pistol.
Well, whatever size it was, somebody fired a gun in here, right?
Apparently, this is an important find. Do you see a bullet around somewhere?
No, the police might have taken it, though.
Bullet hole examined in the court record.
Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later.
Good idea. Yeah, we found the crack, but there's not much else.
Now we gotta find a robot?
Nothing special here. That's some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there.
According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too.
Why would anybody want to have something like that here?
It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the ceiling. No vertical spins. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body.
Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle zero-G? With the holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which for some reason makes me think of losing an argument to Prosecutor Blackwell in court. But at least it's got my brain wrapped up. I come up with my best ideas at times like these. A window, and it's right next to the holographic image too.
I bet it's here to help people see the stark contrast between reality and virtual reality.
Way off. It says emergency ventilation. You know, to clear smoke from a fire.
See, it's pointing out the virtual insanity of reality.
These are apparently oxygen capsules. They're for recovery after a training session.
I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Huh? It didn't do a thing.
It's not helium, Athena, it's oxygen.
Oh, a mirror! How thoughtful of them to put one here.
Thoughtful?
So the ladies can fix their makeup. One's appearance is just as important in space as it is on Earth, you know? You never know where you're gonna run into some other life form after all.
I doubt anybody who thinks like that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. There is not much. We've investigated all we need to know. Yeah, I forgot this.
Let's see. This door is... Where's that pamphlet? Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier when we went to talk to Detective Fulbright.
So I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing beside the door? This must be the fingerprint recognition device.
Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial.
The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition lock. Then allow me to state up from front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. Then does this mean that the bomber's prints were verified by the system?
But the number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small. Voila! Fingerprint powder. I brought it just in case something like this came out. Found it at the office. I've been just itching for a chance to use it.
Wow, way to think ahead.
Now let's dust the fingerprint recognition device and see what we can find. You got it. Now to sprinkle some here and a little over there and... Whoop! Let's see what we have here. Oh, we got something. Aw, it's only a single set of prints.
Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints these are. Although I doubt we'll be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try.
Well, I'm willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data.
Right. And there's a security footage of this door, too.
Yes, here it is. It came up in court the other day.
I wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit.
Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it?
Let's ask the detective.
With the mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away.
Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today.
Let's go see if we can find him again once we're done with this room.
So this is the fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark.
Well, I guess when you can try. Now to line my hand up with the outline.
Don't, Athena. That thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that, and the next thing you know, you'll be named a suspect.
Wow, how can you be so cruel to a little girl like me?
I'm not buying those tears, Missy. I wonder what this big knob is for. Looks like the knob of a stove. Well, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, it's behind a glass pane. What kind of stove would require knob security like this?
Well, the knob is straight up and down, so if it was for a stove, the burner would be off.
Right. If it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for.
Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove? How about a rocket engine?
If you had to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in.
And I guess all we can say for now is that it's a mystery knob. Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome.
Yikes! What in the world?
My name is Ponco. P-O-N-C-O. Ponco! Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one. I will guide you.
It's a robot?
I am not a robot. I am Ponco. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O. Ponco.
Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Oh, Ponco, I missed you.
Huh? Do you know this thing, Athena?
Oh, she showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Ponco. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy. So very happy.
Wow, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you.
I don't know you.
Huh? Ouch, that hurt.
Oh, she has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Ponco. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine, too. His name is Phoenix.
A bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it.
Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face.
Oh, sure.
Registering. Facial registration sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix.
Huh? This robot is pretty cute.
You made a friend, boss. Isn't it great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you. Right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss.
Go where?